Foremost, I start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem, Kakadash. The honor to the apostles, elders, bishops, a great millstone who rule well and also taught me this truth. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there. Use your body as a living sacrifice, pushing this truth for sincerity, and I had to take down two lessons that I've done earlier because there was no sound there. So Salaki on that. And if there's no sound on this video, then I would have to take this down as well. But no, it's a lot going on fast. It's a lot going on fast. And we're in that time, man. The spirit is picking up. You know, um, yeah, and these devils are being exposed, man, from the highest of them to the lowest of them. And this is Fair Use Act of 1976, Fair Use Act. This is for educational purposes. This is for bringing out the the doctrine and prophecy, man. So with no further ado, you know,
of when to go. The concept of Iran striking preemptively is something that we were all very, very concerned with, and there were other reasons as well from an operational perspective.
by the way, the reporter asked her a simple question: who idea was it to strike? Was it Israel or was it Trump? You know, and just like the devil that they are, you know, they always have to control the narrative. They have to weasel their way out, with a word salad or a lot of information. So here it is. Pay attention.
But that was pressing concern for us and for the president. Yes.
So it was Israel that wanted President Trump to do this, or President Trump reaching out to Israel? I just want to be clear.
No, I mean, we've been working in partnership with the Americans on the Iran issue very, very closely for many months, particularly since Operation Midnight Hammer and Rising Lion in June.
Midnight Hammer. Just like Jeremiah said, how's the hammer of the earth seized, or something along that line, right? Because they the hammer of the earth. She telling you right now, we've been in conflict with uh they've been in conflict with Iran the last 47 years. Okay, why didn't you run in Iran? What was the whole Iraq Afghanistan war about the last 20 years then? If this was the number one direct threat, you know? Esau's not creative, man. You know? And that's why the scripture said I would make Esau bear. That's why the Lord said he would make Esau bear. He exposing you devils for who you are, you know? And this is the man of sin being revealed, you know? Because this all began with the small hats, you know? The least of the flock shall draw them out. And now you got all these nations in the Levant, pursuant to Joel the third chapter for Yahweh Shaphat. But that's it. That's it on that. Let me finish playing the video.
And what we saw that was very alarming to us is that, as President Trump and Secretary Rubio have said in recent days, the Iranians were rebuilding their missile arsenal, and they were continuing to view it as a shield for their nuclear weapons program, because what they were seeking to do, and they're moving towards doing, and in fact beginning to do, is
You heard the same story with the WMD, Saddam Hussein, the weapons of mass destruction, right? Then they went over there and they said, oh, it don't have any weapons of mass destruction, you know? And it's the same now. Remember the Operation Midnight Hammer? They said they destroyed all the nuclear facilities. Now you guys are still worried about nukes. You see? That's because you the devil, man. You know? And hey, and you doing the purpose of the Lord, y'all by Shem Yahushua, man. Hey, keep on.
have an industrial line that was going to produce 100 missiles a month, and we're only capable of producing 7 interceptor missiles a month, and that would have
That's an overwhelming force. You're creating 100 missiles per every what? 1, 2, 3, 4 interceptors? Yeah.
overwhelmed our defenses not only for Israel and the United States, but for all of the Arab countries in the Gulf and beyond, so that they would have this impermeable thing that they would be able to attack with in an overwhelming manner. I mean, just remember the force of these missiles. They're the size of buses. We had a missile attack here in Israel on a synagogue. 8 people were killed by this one missile. So imagine if we had hundreds and hundreds of them escaping our defenses, moving through our defenses and hitting Israel, hitting Saudi Arabia, hitting their oil installations, hitting Europe. They've already attacked Cyprus, which is an EU member state. Today they attacked Turkey. So imagine that all of this was going on, and under that shield, they were able to build nuclear weapons. And what we saw was that they were moving these installations.
And these devils don't care about the other Arab countries in the regions. In the region, they have a plan called the Greater Israel, when they're actually planning to expand their land. You know, and the scriptures say, Second Ezra the 15 chapters, that the wild dragons of Arabia will remember themselves. You know, see, these Middle Eastern countries are going to come together against Israel and Babylon. Why? Because it's prophecy.
Underground, and if they had moved them underground, if that had actually happened, then they would have been immune to assault, and they would have been able to go forward on this maniacal plan without obstacles. So, from that perspective, it was imperative to move, and from the perspective that we were very, very concerned, and the president certainly voiced the concern that they were going to preemptively attack, we moved when we did.
So, and I understand everything that you've just laid out. I don't think anybody's disputing that Iran has a brutal regime, and both Israel and the U.S. had plans to take them down. And now it's a full-out war, and both sides are saying until this military is obliterated, that it's going to continue. But what we're trying to figure out is we've received conflicting messages about why this war was executed when it was. And the president came out in the Oval yesterday and said, I may have forced Israel to do this. Do you agree with the president? Did he force your hand and say, let's go now?
Force is maybe not the word that I would have chosen, although it's a fine word.
Would you choose?
Just in the sense that we've been working together, and he leads decisions, and
He don't lead decisions. He's a puppet. Yahoo got his hands so far up Nero's ass. He's pretty much a ventriloquist at this point. And that's why she can't answer the question. That's why all the information is coming out and everything is conflicting. Remember, the scriptures say it would cause their own words, their own tongues to fall upon themselves. And that's what's happening. Beginning with the whistleblowers and all the information that's coming out through the Europe and the Thrumming, which is the internet, the Psalms, the 19th chapter.
And we go along with it. And if there's, and we have a conversation, it's a conversation that we have. And, and so the concerns are voiced by all sides. And by the way, it's not that you're getting conflicting reports. I think you should look at it more like you're getting more information. And, and over time, you get more details about the thought process that went into attacking when we did and why we had to attack. And in general, what is Iran? What is this regime that declared war on the United States and Israel 47 years ago and has been waging that war with all the means at their disposal for 47 years? And not to mention, they've been keeping all of the countries in the Gulf and beyond under a threat of constant terror. Europe, there's almost no country in Europe that hasn't suffered from Iranian terrorism, Latin America as well, Africa as well. So, you're looking at the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism and purveyor of terrorism and funder of terrorism. They're developing a massive ballistic missile arsenal and a nuclear arsenal.
Sure, and we've reported on all of that. Nobody's disputing that at all. And it sounds like you're saying the President of the United States took the lead and the Prime Minister went along.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you so much. All right, what is the joint goal of this war?
That's it on that. Until next time, Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah.